Good day. Now we are going to start our seventh lection. Its theme is medicine in modern times. This period is from 1640 until the 19th, 18th. This is time of approval and development of capitalism. The general features of the development of medicine in the Western Europe, the prosperity zenith of capitalism, the rapid growth of the industry, the widespread use of steam and electricity, the requirement of time mastering the natural wealth and the force of nature and medicine order. France was the center of the materialism and eighth development. The French materialists said that nature is materialistic, eternal, unique, and indestructible, endlessly, and obey the objective laws. Henri Leroy defended the materialist code of Harvard teaching. Julien Lemaitre announced a program of study life process by experiments. Cabanes proposed a number of measures to improve hospital business and medical education. According to Pierre Cabanes, everything in the present state of medicine foreshadows its approach to the big revolution. The greatest discoveries in the natural science, theory cellular structure of living organism, Schleiden and Schwann, the law of energy conservation, and evolutionary theory by Charles Darwin. Friedrich Engels. The first of these was the proof of the transformation of energy. The second, opening by Schlein and Schwann, organic cell as one unit of reproduction and differentiation from which arise and grow all organisms. The third great discovery, the theory of evolution, which is systematic form, was first developed and proved by Darwin. Clinical medicine, with high internal mastered the achievements of biomedical science. There was a significant gap between the forward-thinking mindedness of scientists and practitioners. At the beginning of the 18th century, in European clinics were not applied diagnostic tools and laboratory examination methods. The basics of diagnosis used survey the patient or anamnesis, examination of the patient and his excretions, feeling palm body temperature and counting pulse. Leopold Anderberger. The new discovery, which allows on the basics of percussion of chest man as a site to discover hidden in the depth of breast disease. I suggest I have found a new way to detect breast disease. It consists of chest percussion person who, owing to the changes sound tones, give an idea of its internal disease. Based on my experience, I maintain sign in question is extremely important not only for recognition, but also for the treatment of disease. Moreover, he deserves first place after the study of pulse and respiration. The teacher of Russian military hospital surgery, Sopolovich, applied this method in practice, defined exudate in the thorax, and produced medical pleural puncture. In Europe, the percussion method was abandoned. Abrugurger was recognized crazy, spent the last years of his life in a mental hospital where he died. Jean-Nicolas Courvoisier has revived percussion method. He was tested his method about 20 years. In 1808, he published a translation of writing of Abrugger. In 1818, he published articles about percussion. He has suggested of percussion by method edged of the palm. He has diagnosed aneurysm of the heart by method of percussion. He has promoted method of percussion and auscultation of the chest directed to the lectures in the amphitheaters of the hospital Charette. René Torrey Hachin Laennec. Age and sex of the patient, wrote Laennec, did not allow me to use direct auscultation of the ear, learning against the region of the heart. I asked for a few sheets of paper, fold them into the cylinder, put one end to the heart and put his ear to the other. I was equally surprised and pleased when I heard head breath and clear and distinct. What had never heard of them by direct application to the ear region of the heart. The merit of René Laennec. He suggested method of auscultation. He invented the stethoscope and gave a definition of pathological anatomy of tuberculosis and determined its specificity and effectiveness. He suggested recreation, high-calorie diet, the sea air for its prevention. He described auscultation symptoms of heart disease, the clinical circulars and portal pathomorphology. About auscultation and recognition of the lungs and the heart disease based on a new method of investigation. Using method of percussion and auscultation in Russia. The development of diagnostic methods. In 1709, there was created a mercury thermometer by Fahrenheit, and later created a mercury thermometer under Celsius, which is used until now. The range of diagnostic methods: percussion, auscultation, thermometry. Clinical method with difficulty making himself weigh. You cannot teach the treatment otherwise than as visiting to patient. The name of clinical medicine, which oversees patients at their bed. Creation of clinical direction in Russia. First, Peter I sent to Padua first Russian doctor, apothecary order, Pyotr Vasilievich Postnikov. Then, invited to Russian Nikolai Lambertovich, builder. Да. Ну, да.
Не знаете, надо зачем мне забавно спрашивать. Мы вот писали, когда по программе безопасности дорожного движения.
So once again, in 1702, invited to the Russian Nikolai Lambrevich Bildo, the near doctor of Peter I. Then creation of the first hospital school at the first land hospital across the river Yauza. Then the reform of medical education, Kandoidi, and an introduction of the program of clinical disciplines, obstetrics, women's and children's disease, physiology. Then opening at the initiative of the Moscow Lomonosov University, the philosophical, legal, and medical faculty. The creation of clinical direction in Russia. The first Russian professor in Moscow University, was Simon Gerasimovich Zibelin, the first clinical ward for 10 patients, the creation of teaching about the disease from the standpoint of the unity of the body and the environment, a professor of pathology and therapy, Justin Evdokimович Dziadkowski. By the beginning of the 19th century in Russia, opened 2 medical faculties and at universities, the University of Moscow and the St. Petersburg Medical Surgical Academy. And by the 60th years, opened medical faculties in other universities, in Tartu, Dortan, Vilna, Kazan, Krakow, and Kiev. Famous representative of clinical medicine, Matthew Mudrov. Clinical principle, treat the patient but not disease. The principle of better protect than cure. Writing history at the bedside, more experience, richest library. First in Russia applied the method of palpation, percussion, and auscultation, made contribute to the military health. He explained the principle of nervism in internal medicine, created clinical school. Sergei Petrovich Botkin. He described the clinic of infectious hepatitis, which was called Botkin's disease. Engaged in problems of rheumatism, kidney disease, heart and vascular collapse, and others. He organized the use of laboratories in clinic. He created direction of experimental therapeutics and clinical pharmacology. He introduced the concept of social medicine. He published the course of internal medicine and clinical lectures. Deep his mind, not enticed by the closest success, look for the key to great riddle, what is a sick man and how to help him in the lab in animal experiments. And the high score of the experiment clinic is, in my opinion, no less glory by Sergei Petrovich than its clinical known thought of the Russian activities by academic Pavlov. Famous representative of clinical medicine, which was called the Golden Age of the Moscow University. Иван Михайлович Сеченов, Николай Васильевич Склифосовский, Сергей Сергеевич Корсаков, Нил Федорович Филатов, Федор Федорович Эресман, Григорий Антонович Захарин, and others. Николай Иванович Пирогов. He was the surgeon, anatomist, topographist, military surgery, founder of anesthesiology, organizer, and other healthcare. In 1832, at the age of 22, he defended his doctoral dissertation. In 1841, he organized the Department of Hospital Surgery by St. Petersburg Medical Surgical Academy. He has developed a method, eyes anatomy. He's used ether anesthesia in hospitals. He introduced medical trade, using the female care for the wounded. They were called Sisters of Charity. So this is all for the our 7th lecture. See you on next lectures. Goodbye.